Do miracles still happen today? Are there astonishing proofs of divine intervention in our modern world? It is a peculiar thing, the notion of miracles in our sophisticated age. We often think ourselves beyond such quaint beliefs, ensconced as we are in the comforts of scientific certainties and technological marvels. Yet, the question lingers, almost audaciously. Do miracles still happen? Is there, in this vast and complex world, room for the extraordinary workings of a divine hand? This inquiry is not merely a relic of a more credulous past, but a living question that presses upon the thoughtful mind. In this video, we'll explore some of the most incredible and well-documented miracles that defy scientific explanation and provide compelling evidence of the supernatural. Wait until the end of the video, as we will say a prayer together. We shall embark on a journey of exploration, venturing into territories both ancient and contemporary. Our aim is not to indulge in fanciful tales, but to examine documented occurrences that challenge our conventional understanding. These accounts, rich in detail and resistant to easy dismissal, beckon us to consider the possibility that the miraculous is woven into the very fabric of reality, waiting to be discerned by those with eyes to see. With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Here lies the crux of the matter. Human limitations are all too apparent. We know the bounds of our capabilities. Yet, within the divine economy, the boundaries of the possible are infinitely expanded. This statement from the Gospel, according to Matthew, is not an idle remark, but a profound truth that invites us to reconsider the nature of possibility itself. What seems impossible to us is entirely within the realm of God's action, and it is in this interplay between human limitation and divine omnipotence that miracles find their place. In this video, we will delve into the nature of miracles, examining both historical and contemporary accounts to uncover the astonishing proof of their reality. Our task is both simple and profound. We seek to understand miracles, not as mere anecdotes or relics of superstition, but as tangible events that reveal deeper truths about our world and the divine. By examining both the ancient records and modern testimonies, we aim to uncover the layers of meaning and evidence that support the reality of miraculous occurrences. What do these events tell us about the nature of God and His interaction with His creation? We'll start with the biblical foundations of miracles, explore historical records and modern testimonies, and then analyze the impact and implications of these miraculous events. To guide our exploration, we will follow a structured path. We begin with the biblical foundations, exploring how Scripture defines and illustrates miracles. Next, we journey through history, examining records that have stood the test of time. Finally, we turn to the present, considering modern testimonies and the ongoing impact of miracles in contemporary life. This journey will not only document and verify, but also ponder the profound implications these events have for our understanding of faith, existence, and the divine. In this endeavor, let us engage both our reason and imagination, for it is in this blend that we may come closest to grasping the full significance of miracles. Let us proceed with an openness to wonder, ready to be astonished by the divine workings that continue to manifest in our world. Jesus looked at them and said, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Matthew 19:26. In the grand tapestry of the Bible, certain verses shimmer with a particular luminescence, inviting us to ponder deeper truths. Matthew 19:26 is one such verse, encapsulating a profound theological assertion. At first glance, it speaks to the limitation of human ability and the boundless nature of divine power. This declaration by Jesus does more than comfort. It challenges us to expand our understanding of what is possible when viewed through the lens of faith. To grasp the significance of miracles, we must first understand this divine-human dichotomy. Human endeavors are bound by the natural laws, a consistent framework governing our physical universe. Yet, within the biblical narrative, miracles represent the extraordinary breaking into the ordinary, the supernatural intersecting with the natural. They are instances where God, the Creator, momentarily suspends or transcends these laws, not arbitrarily, but with purpose and intent. Exploring the characteristics and definitions of miracles as presented in the Bible. A miracle, in its essence, is an event that surpasses all known human or natural powers and is ascribed to a divine cause. The Bible presents miracles as acts of God that serve to reveal His glory, authenticate His messengers, and advance His redemptive purposes. They are not merely anomalies or disruptions, but are laden with meaning and significance. Consider the defining characteristics of biblical miracles. 1. Divine intervention. Miracles are acts of God. They are not the result of human effort or natural processes, but are direct interventions by the divine. 2. Suspension or transcendence of natural laws. These events defy the known laws of nature, pointing to a reality beyond the empirical and the measurable. 3. Purposefulness. Miracles in the Bible are not random. They carry a specific purpose, often to reveal God's nature, convey a message, or accomplish His will. Let us delve into some of the quintessential examples of miracles from both the Old and New Testaments, each reflecting the aforementioned characteristics. 1. Parting of the Red Sea, Exodus 14:21-22. One of the most iconic miracles in the Old Testament, the parting of the Red Sea is a dramatic display of divine power. Here, God parts the waters to allow the Israelites to escape from the pursuing Egyptians. This miracle serves to deliver God's chosen people and demonstrate His supreme authority over nature. 2. The sun stands still, Joshua 10:13. In the battle at Gibeon, Joshua commands the sun and moon to stand still, and they obey. This suspension of the natural order underscores God's control over the cosmos and His willingness to intervene on behalf of His people. 3. Elijah's contest on Mount Carmel, 1 Kings 18:38. In a dramatic showdown with the prophets of Baal, Elijah calls down fire from heaven to consume a water-drenched sacrifice. This miracle reaffirms God's supremacy over false idols and validates Elijah as His prophet. Turning to the New Testament, the miracles of Jesus are central, each imbued with theological depth and significance. 1. Turning water into wine, John 2:1-11. Jesus' first recorded miracle at the wedding in Cana signifies more than His power over nature. It symbolizes the transformative power of His ministry and the inauguration of a new covenant. 2. Feeding the 5,000, Matthew 14:13-21. Multiplying loaves and fishes to feed a multitude not only demonstrates Jesus' compassion, but also points to Him as the bread of life, capable of meeting both physical and spiritual needs. 3. Raising Lazarus, John 11:1-44. Perhaps one of the most poignant miracles, Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead showcases His authority over life and death and prefigures His own resurrection. It is an undeniable testament to His divine nature and the promise of eternal life for believers. 4. Healing of the paralytic, Mark 2:1-12. This miracle is particularly illustrative of Jesus' mission. When He heals a paralytic, He first forgives the man's sins, highlighting the primacy of spiritual restoration. The physical healing then serves as a visible sign of the deeper, unseen miracle of forgiveness. These examples serve as paradigms, each revealing a facet of God's character and his interaction with humanity. They teach us that miracles are not mere spectacles, but signs pointing to greater spiritual truths. They invite us to move beyond mere observation to contemplation, to see in these extraordinary events a revelation of the divine nature and the unfolding of God's redemptive plan. In the biblical worldview, miracles are not intrusions into the natural order, but rather fulfillments of a higher order, where the Creator's intentions are made manifest. They challenge us to reconsider the boundaries of possibility, to recognize that the God who created the laws of nature is not constrained by them. This perspective invites a deeper faith, one that embraces the mystery and majesty of a God who is both immanent and transcendent, capable of intervening in his creation in ways that continually astonish and inspire. As we continue this exploration, let us carry with us the understanding that miracles, whether in ancient texts or modern testimonies, call us to witness the divine at work. They remind us that the same God who parted seas and raised the dead is active in our world today, inviting us to see beyond the ordinary to the extraordinary reality of his presence and power.
The Bible is replete with narratives that describe the miraculous, each one a testament to the extraordinary ways in which the divine intersects with the mundane. These miracles are not simply acts of divine power, they are rich in meaning, purpose, and significance. Let us consider some of the most famous biblical miracles and explore their theological implications.
The parting of the Red Sea, Exodus 14:21-22. One of the most iconic miracles in the Old Testament is the parting of the Red Sea. This event occurs as the Israelites, having fled from Egyptian bondage, find themselves trapped between Pharaoh's advancing army and the seemingly impassable waters of the Red Sea. In a moment of divine intervention, Moses stretches out his hand over the sea, and the waters part, allowing the Israelites to cross on dry ground. The Egyptians, in hot pursuit, are engulfed when the waters return to their natural state. This miracle is not merely a spectacle of divine power. It is a profound demonstration of God's covenantal faithfulness and his ability to deliver his people. It symbolizes the transition from slavery to freedom, a journey from despair to hope. The parting of the Red Sea serves as a reminder of God's sovereignty over nature and his commitment to the salvation of his chosen people. It is a physical manifestation of liberation and a foretaste of the ultimate redemption that is to come. The resurrection of Lazarus, John 11:144. In the New Testament, the resurrection of Lazarus stands as one of the most significant miracles performed by Jesus. Lazarus, a beloved friend of Jesus, falls ill and dies. When Jesus arrives at the tomb 4 days after Lazarus' death, he is deeply moved by the sorrow of those around him. He commands the stone to be rolled away and calls Lazarus forth from the grave. Lazarus emerges, still bound in his burial cloths, a living testament to Jesus' power over death. This miracle is laden with theological significance. It serves as a powerful affirmation of Jesus' identity as the Son of God and the source of eternal life. By raising Lazarus from the dead, Jesus foreshadows his own resurrection and the promise of resurrection for all who believe in him. The miracle illustrates the intersection of divine compassion and omnipotence, offering a glimpse into the transformative power of God's love. It challenges us to move beyond the constraints of human mortality and to embrace the hope of eternal life. The Gospels are filled with accounts of Jesus performing miracles, each one revealing different aspects of his mission and character. From turning water into wine at the wedding in Cana to healing the blind and the lame, Jesus' miracles serve multiple purposes. They authenticate his divine authority, demonstrate his compassion, and fulfill Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah. Consider the feeding of the 5,000, Matthew 14:13-21. Faced with a multitude of hungry followers, Jesus takes 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, blesses them, and miraculously multiplies them to feed everyone present. This miracle is not only a testament to Jesus' divine power, but also a profound symbol of his role as the bread of life. It points to the spiritual sustenance that Jesus provides, satisfying the deepest hungers of the human soul. Another compelling miracle is the calming of the storm, Mark 4:35-41. As Jesus and his disciples cross the Sea of Galilee, a violent storm arises, threatening to capsize their boat. Jesus, awoken by his terrified disciples, rebukes the wind and the waves, and there is an immediate calm. This miracle reveals Jesus' dominion over creation, underscoring his divine authority. It also serves as a metaphor for the peace that he brings into the chaos of human existence, inviting us to trust in his power and presence amidst life's tempests. Understanding the purpose of miracles in the biblical narrative and their role in demonstrating God's power and compassion requires a holistic approach. Miracles in Scripture are not arbitrary acts of divine intervention. They are deeply integrated into the theological and redemptive framework of the Bible. First and foremost, miracles serve to demonstrate the power of God. They reveal that God is not bound by the natural laws that govern the physical universe. This demonstration of power is meant to inspire awe and reverence, drawing individuals into a deeper awareness of God's majesty and sovereignty. The parting of the Red Sea, the resurrection of Lazarus, and the calming of the storm all exemplify God's ability to transcend natural limitations and intervene in extraordinary ways. Miracles also serve to authenticate the messengers of God. Throughout the Bible, prophets and apostles perform miracles as a means of validating their divine commission. These miraculous acts are evidence that they speak with God's authority. Elijah's contest on Mount Carmel, 1 Kings 18:20-39, and the miracles performed by the apostles in the book of Acts, Acts 3:1-10, are prime examples. Miracles provide a divine stamp of approval, affirming the legitimacy of the messenger's words and mission. A key aspect of biblical miracles is their expression of God's compassion. Many of Jesus' miracles in particular are acts of healing and restoration, addressing the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of individuals. The healing of the blind, the cleansing of lepers, and the raising of the dead all reflect God's deep concern for human suffering. These miracles are tangible expressions of God's love, revealing his desire to bring wholeness and renewal to a broken world. Finally, miracles are integral to the advancement of God's redemptive plan. They often occur at pivotal moments in the biblical narrative, marking significant transitions in God's dealings with humanity. The plagues in Egypt, Exodus 7-12, which culminate in the Exodus, and the miracles accompanying the establishment of the early church, Acts 2:1-13, are examples of how miracles facilitate and signify the unfolding of God's salvific purposes. They act as divine signposts, pointing towards the ultimate redemption accomplished in Jesus Christ. The miracles recorded in Scripture are far more than mere supernatural events. They are profound revelations of God's character and his intentions for humanity. Each miracle, whether it be the parting of the Red Sea, the resurrection of Lazarus, or the myriad miracles performed by Jesus, serves to draw us into a deeper understanding of God's power, love, and redemptive purposes. They challenge us to see beyond the natural and to recognize the hand of God at work in the world, inviting us into a relationship of trust, wonder, and faith. When we venture beyond the familiar terrain of our own faith tradition, we encounter a diverse landscape where the miraculous is a common theme across the world's religions. This universality suggests that the longing for and belief in miracles is a deep-seated human characteristic, transcending cultural and geographical boundaries. In Hinduism, We find the concept of Leela, the divine play, where gods engage with the world in miraculous ways. Take, for example, the life of Krishna, whose miracles are numerous and varied. From lifting an entire mountain to protect villagers from a storm, to his childhood feats of strength and wisdom, Krishna's miracles are integral to his divine identity and mission. In Buddhism, although the emphasis is generally on the path to enlightenment through personal effort, the life of the Buddha is marked by miracles. The Buddha's conception and birth, for instance, are described in miraculous terms, with his mother dreaming of a white elephant and his birth being accompanied by auspicious signs. Furthermore, after his enlightenment, the Buddha performed various miracles to demonstrate his spiritual authority and to teach his disciples. Islam also holds a rich tradition of miracles, known as karamat for saints and mujizat for prophets. The Quran itself is considered a living miracle, a divine revelation that surpasses human capacity. The life of Prophet Muhammad includes numerous miracles, such as the splitting of the moon and the miraculous night journey to Jerusalem and ascension to the heavens, known as Isra and Miraj. Despite the diversity of religious traditions, several commonalities emerge in the perception of miracles. 1. Divine authorship. Across traditions, miracles are attributed to divine beings or agents acting on behalf of the divine. They serve to authenticate the messenger and the message, reinforcing the spiritual truths being conveyed. 2. Transcendence of natural laws. Miracles often involve events that transcend natural laws, underscoring the belief that the divine realm operates on a higher plane of existence. 3. Purposefulness. Miracles are seldom random. They serve specific purposes, whether to alleviate suffering, demonstrate divine power, or impart moral and spiritual lessons. However, there are also notable differences in how miracles are understood and contextualized. 1. Philosophical frameworks. Different religions provide various philosophical frameworks to understand miracles. For instance, in Hinduism, miracles are seen within the context of Maya, the illusionary nature of the world, where divine intervention reveals the true nature of reality. In contrast, Islamic theology emphasizes the absolute will and power of Allah, with miracles serving as clear signs of His omnipotence. 2. Role in religious practice. The role of miracles in religious practice varies. In Christianity and Islam, miracles play a central role in the narrative and theological foundations. In Buddhism, while miracles are acknowledged, they are often seen as secondary to the personal journey towards enlightenment. 3. Cultural adaptations. Miracles are also interpreted and adapted according to cultural contexts. For instance, indigenous African religions often incorporate miraculous events into their oral traditions, rituals, and cosmologies, where they serve to maintain social cohesion and cultural identity. The influence of miracles on cultural and religious beliefs throughout history is profound and multifaceted. Miracles have shaped not only theological doctrines, but also the cultural narratives and social practices of communities. In medieval Europe, for instance, the veneration of saints was closely tied to the miracles attributed to them. Pilgrimages to sites of miraculous occurrences, such as healing springs or relics of saints, became central to the religious life of the community. These practices reinforced the Church's authority and provided a tangible connection to the divine. In Hindu culture, the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata are replete with miraculous events that continue to influence the moral and ethical frameworks of society. Festivals and rituals celebrating these epics serve as reminders of the divine interventions in human history, reinforcing cultural values and religious beliefs. In the Islamic world, the miracles of the Prophet Muhammad and other prophets are commemorated in religious festivals and rituals. These events reinforce the belief in Allah's power and providence, fostering a sense of community and shared faith. In East Asian cultures, the miracles associated with bodhisattvas in Mahayana Buddhism play a significant role in devotional practices. The belief in the compassionate intervention of bodhisattvas in response to prayers and rituals reflects the deep integration of miraculous belief into daily religious life. Miracles have also left an indelible mark on art, literature, and architecture. Gothic cathedrals, with their soaring spires and intricate stained glass, are physical embodiments of the medieval belief in the miraculous. These structures were designed to inspire awe and reverence, reflecting the miraculous nature of the divine. In literature, the theme of miracles has inspired countless works, from Dante's Divine Comedy to the plays of Shakespeare. These literary works explore the human experience of the miraculous, offering insights into the nature of faith and the divine. Miracles are a universal phenomenon that transcends religious and cultural boundaries. They serve as powerful reminders of the divine presence and activity in the world, offering hope and inspiration. The similarities in the perception and purpose of miracles across traditions highlight the shared human experience of the divine, while the differences enrich our understanding of how various cultures and religions interpret and integrate the miraculous into their worldviews. As we continue to explore the role of miracles, we are invited to reflect on the ways in which these extraordinary events shape our beliefs, our communities, and our understanding of the divine. When we speak of miracles, we inevitably touch upon two grand theological themes: immanence and transcendence. These are not merely abstract concepts, but vital threads in the fabric of our understanding of the divine. Immanence refers to the belief that God is present and active within His creation. This view sees God as intimately involved in the workings of the world, sustaining and guiding all things. From this perspective, miracles are seen as natural extensions of God's ongoing engagement with the world. They are moments where God's presence becomes particularly manifest, not as interruptions, but as heightened expressions of His immanent activity. Transcendence, on the other hand, emphasizes the otherness of God. It acknowledges that God is wholly different from and independent of His creation. He is not bound by the natural laws He has established. Miracles, from this viewpoint, are extraordinary acts that break into the natural order from the divine realm. They are instances where God's transcendence is vividly displayed, showing His sovereignty over all creation. The tension between these two views is a fruitful one, allowing us to appreciate the fullness of God's relationship with the world. The Bible provides support for both perspectives, creating a rich tapestry of divine interaction. The Bible is replete with instances that showcase both God's immanence and transcendence. For example, the Psalms often reflect on God's sustaining presence in creation. The earth is the Lord's, and everything in it. Psalm 24:1. This verse captures the immanent perspective, recognizing God's ongoing involvement with the world He has made. Yet, the Bible also emphasizes God's transcendence. Consider Isaiah 55:8-9. Where God declares, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Here, the otherness and supremacy of God are highlighted, affirming His transcendence. Miracles in Scripture often reflect this dual nature. The incarnation of Christ is perhaps the ultimate expression of divine immanence, God taking on human flesh and dwelling among us. Yet the miracles performed by Jesus, such as calming the storm or raising the dead, dramatically display God's transcendent power, breaking through the natural order. Understanding miracles involves examining their key attributes. These characteristics help us identify and appreciate the miraculous. 1. Divine intervention. Miracles are fundamentally acts of divine intervention. They are events where God steps into the natural order in a clear and unmistakable way. This intervention is often direct and purposeful, pointing unmistakably to the divine hand at work. 2. Defying natural laws. A hallmark of miracles is their defiance of natural laws. They involve events or actions that cannot be explained by the ordinary workings of nature. Whether it is the sun standing still in the sky, Joshua 10:13, or water being turned into wine, John 2:1-11, miracles transcend the laws that normally govern our physical world. 3. Purposefulness. Miracles are not random acts. They are imbued with purpose. They often serve to reveal God's character, authenticate His messengers, or advance His redemptive plan. Each miracle has a specific intent, whether it is to demonstrate God's compassion, as in the healing of the blind, or to illustrate a deeper spiritual truth, as in the resurrection of Lazarus. From a philosophical standpoint, the attributes of miracles raise intriguing questions and challenges. Divine intervention. The concept of divine intervention presupposes a God who is both willing and able to interact with His creation. This raises questions about the nature of God's involvement in the world. Is God continually intervening in subtle ways, or are miracles rare and extraordinary events? The frequency and nature of divine intervention have been debated by theologians and philosophers alike. Defying natural laws. Miracles, by definition, seem to contravene the established laws of nature. This has led to philosophical debates about the nature of these laws. Are they inviolable principles, or are they descriptive generalizations of God's usual ways of working in the world? David Hume, the famous skeptic, argued that the uniformity of natural laws makes belief in miracles irrational. However, others, like C.S. Lewis, have countered that the existence of natural laws does not preclude the possibility of divine intervention. Rather, it highlights the extraordinary nature of miracles when they occur. Purposefulness. The purposefulness of miracles suggests intentionality behind them. This implies a God who is not only powerful, but also purposeful and personal. Miracles are seen as acts of communication, where God reveals something about Himself or His will to humanity. This attribute challenges the impersonal views of deism, which sees God as a distant creator who does not intervene in the world. In examining these attributes, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity and richness of the concept of miracles. They are not mere anomalies, but are deeply woven into the fabric of God's interaction with the world. They challenge our understanding of reality and invite us to see beyond the natural to the supernatural. The nature of miracles, characterized by divine intervention, defiance of natural laws, and purposefulness, offers profound insights into the nature of God and His relationship with creation. The interplay between immanence and transcendence, supported by biblical and theological perspectives, enriches our understanding of these extraordinary events. Philosophically, miracles invite us to expand our conceptual horizons and embrace the mystery and majesty of a God who is both near and far, involved in the minutiae of life, yet sovereign over all. This duality challenges us to hold in tension the nearness of God's presence and the awe-inspiring nature of His power, leading us to a fuller and more nuanced appreciation of the miraculous. In our quest to understand miracles in the contemporary world, we find ourselves navigating the delicate balance between faith and reason. This balance is not merely an academic exercise, but a lived tension that believers and theologians wrestle with daily. How do we reconcile the miraculous with our modern scientific understanding of the world? This question has been at the heart of theological discourse for centuries and remains profoundly relevant today. Contemporary theologians approach the reconciliation of faith and reason through various lenses. Some emphasize that faith and science occupy different domains or magisteria, as Stephen Jay Gould proposed. This view suggests that science deals with empirical facts and natural laws, while faith addresses questions of meaning, purpose, and the divine. Miracles, then, are seen not as violations of natural laws, but as events that carry profound spiritual significance beyond the purview of scientific explanation. Others, however, seek a more integrative approach, arguing that science and faith are not mutually exclusive, but can inform and enrich one another. For instance, theologian John Polkinghorne, a physicist and priest, advocates for a theistic evolution perspective, where the natural processes studied by science are seen as the means by which God's creative will is realized. Miracles, in this framework, are exceptional acts of God that reveal His presence and purpose in ways that transcend but do not contradict the natural order. C.S. Lewis, a master of integrating faith and reason, argued that miracles are coherent with the Christian worldview. In his book Miracles, Lewis posits that the natural world, created and sustained by God, is open to divine intervention. He suggests that if one accepts the existence of a supernatural creator, then miracles become not only possible, but expected as expressions of divine will. Lewis's approach encourages believers to see miracles as windows into a greater reality, where the natural and supernatural are intertwined. The credibility and relevance of miracles in the modern age are subjects of vigorous debate among theologians, scientists, and philosophers. Skeptics often challenge the reliability of miracle reports, citing the lack of empirical evidence and the possibility of natural explanations for seemingly miraculous events. They argue that belief in miracles is a relic of a pre-scientific worldview that is incompatible with modern critical thinking. In response, many theologians assert that the criteria for evaluating miracles should not be limited to scientific empiricism. They argue that miracles, by their nature, are rare and exceptional events that cannot be fully captured by the methodologies of natural science. Instead, the credibility of miracles can also be assessed through historical analysis, eyewitness testimonies, and the transformative impact on individuals and communities. For example, the reported healings at the Shrine of Lourdes have been subjected to extensive medical scrutiny, with some cases remaining inexplicable by current scientific standards. The Catholic Church employs a rigorous process for verifying miracles, involving medical experts and theologians, before officially recognizing an event as miraculous. This interdisciplinary approach seeks to uphold both the integrity of scientific inquiry and the authenticity of divine intervention. The interpretation and acceptance of miracles vary widely across the spectrum of Christian denominations and theological schools, reflecting broader differences in doctrine and worldview. Progressive theologians often adopt a more symbolic or metaphorical understanding of miracles. They may view biblical miracle stories as mythic narratives that convey profound theological truths rather than literal historical events. For instance, the feeding of the 5,000 might be interpreted as a parable about sharing and communal abundance, rather than a physical multiplication of loaves and fishes. This approach emphasizes the moral and spiritual lessons embedded in miracle accounts, seeing them as expressions of God's presence and action in the world that do not necessarily defy natural laws. Progressive theologians also tend to focus on the experiential and transformative aspects of miracles. They highlight the ways in which miraculous events inspire faith, foster community, and promote social justice. Miracles, in this view, are not confined to ancient times, but continue to occur in the present through acts of compassion, solidarity, and spiritual awakening. Conservative theologians, on the other hand, generally uphold a literal interpretation of biblical miracles. They argue that miracles are historical events that demonstrate God's sovereign power and confirm the truth of the Christian faith. For conservatives, the veracity of miracles is foundational to the credibility of the Bible and the divinity of Jesus Christ. They assert that denying the literal reality of miracles undermines the core tenets of Christianity, such as the resurrection of Jesus, which is central to the faith. Conservative theologians often emphasize the apologetic value of miracles, viewing them as evidence of God's existence and involvement in the world. They engage in rigorous defense of the historical reliability of miracle accounts, drawing on archaeological findings, historical documents, and philosophical arguments to support their claims. Miracles are seen as tangible signs of God's redemptive action, providing assurance and hope to believers. Ultimately, the dialogue between faith and reason in the context of miracles is an ongoing and dynamic process. It involves a continual reassessment of our understanding of the natural world, the nature of divine action, and the interpretive frameworks we use to make sense of extraordinary events. This dialogue invites believers to hold both faith and reason in tension, recognizing the limits of human understanding while remaining open to the mystery and wonder of the divine. In engaging with modern theological perspectives on miracles, we are reminded of the words of Blaise Pascal. The heart has its reasons which reason knows not. This aphorism captures the essence of the interplay between faith and reason. While reason seeks to understand and explain, faith invites us to trust and believe. Together, they guide us in our exploration of the miraculous, leading us to a deeper appreciation of the divine presence in our world. As we continue this journey, let us embrace both the rational and the mystical, recognizing that miracles, whether understood through the lens of science or faith, point us towards the transcendent reality of a God who is both immanent and beyond our comprehension. To delve into the paradoxical nature of miracles is to enter a realm where human understanding grapples with the profound mysteries of divine action. Miracles, by their very nature, challenge our conventional categories of thought and force us to confront the tension between divine love and human suffering. They are acts that reveal the heart of God in ways that are often unexpected and bewildering, yet profoundly transformative. Consider the dual aspect of miracles as both demonstrations of divine power and expressions of divine love. On one hand, miracles are displays of God's omnipotence, events that transcend the natural order and reveal His ultimate authority over creation. On the other hand, they are deeply personal acts of compassion, where God's love breaks into the suffering and brokenness of the world to bring healing, restoration, and hope. Take, for example, the miracle of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead, John 11:1-44. This event is a powerful manifestation of Jesus' divine authority over life and death, an unmistakable demonstration of His power. Yet, it is also a deeply compassionate act, born out of His profound love for Lazarus and his grieving sisters, Mary and Martha. Jesus weeps with them, sharing in their sorrow before performing the miracle that restores their brother to life. This duality, divine power expressed through compassionate action, lies at the heart of many biblical miracles. Yet, miracles also raise perplexing questions about the nature of suffering and divine justice. If God can perform miracles, why does He not alleviate all suffering? Why are some prayers for miracles answered, while others seemingly go unheard? These questions highlight the paradoxical nature of miracles and the mystery of divine intervention. Theological reflections on this paradox often turn to the concept of divine mystery. The idea that God's ways are higher than our ways, Isaiah 55:9, invites us to trust in His wisdom and goodness, even when His actions, or apparent inactions, are beyond our comprehension. This trust does not require us to abandon reason, but rather to acknowledge the limits of human understanding when faced with the infinite and transcendent nature of God. Saint Augustine of Hippo, a towering figure in Christian theology, grappled with these questions in his writings. He proposed that miracles are signs that point beyond themselves to the greater reality of God's kingdom. They are not ends in themselves, but are meant to inspire faith and hope in God's ultimate plan for redemption and restoration. Augustine saw miracles as part of God's providential care, working in ways that are often hidden from human sight, but ultimately aimed at bringing about the greatest good. Similarly, C.S. Lewis, in his book Miracles, explores the idea that miracles are interferences with nature by supernatural power. He argues that miracles are part of a grand narrative that includes creation, fall, redemption, and new creation. Each miracle is a glimpse of the world as it was meant to be, and as it will be in the fullness of God's kingdom. They are acts of divine love breaking into a fallen world, pointing towards the ultimate healing and restoration that God has promised. Lewis also acknowledges the tension between the miraculous and the ordinary. He suggests that the regularity of natural laws is itself a sign of God's faithfulness, providing a stable and predictable world in which humans can live and flourish. Miracles, therefore, are not capricious disruptions, but purposeful acts that reveal deeper truths about God's character and His intentions for creation. Another important perspective comes from the theology of the cross, particularly in the writings of Martin Luther. Luther emphasized that God's greatest act of love and power was revealed in the paradox of the cross, where Jesus' suffering and death brought about the redemption of the world. This theology of the cross teaches that God often works in ways that appear weak and foolish by human standards, but are, in fact, the profound expressions of His love and power. Miracles, seen through this lens, are signs of God's presence in the midst of suffering, reminders that He is intimately involved in the world's pain and working towards its ultimate redemption. In the contemporary theological landscape, scholars continue to wrestle with these themes. Some argue that miracles are rare precisely because they are meant to draw attention to specific moments of divine intervention that reveal something essential about God's nature and purposes. Others suggest that miracles are more common than we realize, but we often fail to recognize them because they do not fit our expectations of the miraculous. In exploring the paradoxical nature of miracles, we are invited to embrace the mystery of divine intervention. Miracles are profound expressions of God's love and power, breaking into the ordinary and the painful to reveal glimpses of His kingdom. They challenge our understanding and invite us into deeper trust and faith, recognizing that God's ways are often beyond our comprehension, but always aimed at bringing about His redemptive purposes. The tension between divine love and human suffering remains a profound mystery, one that calls us to a posture of humility and awe. As we reflect on the miracles of the past and the present, we are reminded that God is both near and far, immanent in His compassionate care and transcendent in His sovereign power. This duality invites us to live with hope and expectancy, trusting that the God who performs miracles is the same God who walks with us through the valleys of life, leading us ultimately towards the fullness of His glorious kingdom. When we turn our attention to the annals of history, we find numerous accounts of miracles that have been meticulously documented and preserved. These historical records, often accompanied by eyewitness testimonies and other forms of evidence, provide a compelling case for the continued occurrence of the miraculous. One of the most well-documented sites of miraculous events is Lourdes, a small town in the foothills of the Pyrenees in France. In 1858, a young girl named Bernadette Soubirous reported a series of visions of the Virgin Mary. Following these apparitions, a spring emerged from the grotto where the visions took place, and the water from this spring has since been associated with numerous healings. The Lourdes Medical Bureau, an independent body composed of doctors and medical experts, has documented over 7,000 cases of unexplained cures. While the Catholic Church has officially recognized 70 of these healings as miracles, the sheer number of reports and the rigorous scrutiny they undergo provide a substantial body of evidence supporting the reality of these events. Another notable example is the miracles attributed to various saints throughout history. One such saint is Saint Francis of Assisi, known for his deep piety and numerous miracles. Among the most famous is his reception of the stigmata, the the wounds of Christ, which appeared on his body during a vision in 1224. This phenomenon has been documented in several historical sources, and the authenticity of St. Francis's stigmata has been supported by eyewitness accounts and the enduring veneration of his relics. Similarly, Saint Padre Pio, a 20th-century Italian friar, was also known for bearing the stigmata. Padre Pio's life was marked by numerous miraculous occurrences, including healings, bilocation, being in two places at once, and prophetic knowledge. The medical and scientific investigations into his stigmata and other miracles were extensive, with many reputable doctors unable to provide natural explanations for these phenomena. The examination of miracles through the lens of science is a fascinating and often contentious endeavor. Scientific scrutiny seeks to understand and explain these extraordinary events, either by identifying natural causes or by acknowledging the limitations of current scientific knowledge. The process of investigating miracles typically involves a thorough and methodical approach. This includes collecting eyewitness testimonies, medical records, and other forms of documentation. In many cases, the investigations are conducted by independent experts who apply rigorous standards to assess the evidence. For example, the healings at Lourdes are subject to intense medical scrutiny. The Lourdes Medical Bureau, established to investigate claims of miraculous cures, follows a stringent protocol. Each case is examined in detail, with particular attention given to the medical history of the patient, the diagnosis, and the nature of the cure. Only those healings that defy natural explanation and are verified by multiple medical professionals are considered for recognition as miracles. One notable case is that of Sister Marie Simon-Pierre, a French nun who was cured of Parkinson's disease in 2005. Her healing, which occurred after prayers to Pope John Paul II, was investigated by the Lourdes Medical Bureau and a panel of independent doctors. Despite the thorough investigation, no natural explanation for her sudden and complete recovery could be found, leading to its recognition as a miracle. In addition to medical healings, other types of miracles, such as the incorruptibility of saints' bodies, have also been subjects of scientific study. The phenomenon of incorruptibility, where the bodies of certain saints remain preserved long after death, without any artificial means, challenges our understanding of natural decomposition. Scientific examinations of these bodies often reveal preservation that cannot be attributed to known natural processes, adding another layer of mystery to these miraculous occurrences. The intersection of faith and science in the study of miracles is a rich field of inquiry. While science seeks to understand the natural world through empirical observation and experimentation, faith embraces the mysteries of the divine that transcend natural explanation. C.S. Lewis, in his Reflections on Miracles, argued that while miracles may temporarily suspend or supersede natural laws, they do not violate the rational order of the universe. Instead, miracles are acts of God that reveal deeper truths about the nature of reality. Lewis suggested that the existence of miracles is not contrary to science, but rather complementary, providing glimpses of a higher reality that science alone cannot fully comprehend. This perspective encourages a dialogue between faith and science, where both can contribute to a fuller understanding of the miraculous. While science can document and study the physical aspects of miracles, faith offers insights into their spiritual significance and purpose. The historical accounts and scientific scrutiny of miracles present a compelling body of evidence for the continued occurrence of the miraculous. These well-documented events challenge our understanding of natural laws and invite us to consider the possibility of divine intervention in the world. The rigorous investigations and the persistent inability of science to fully explain these phenomena point to a reality that transcends natural explanation. As we reflect on these documented miracles, we are reminded of the words of Jesus in Matthew 19:26. "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." This profound truth invites us to open our hearts and minds to the extraordinary ways in which the divine intersects with our world, offering hope, healing, and glimpses of a greater reality. In the contemporary world, stories of miraculous events continue to emerge, offering compelling testimonies that challenge our understanding of reality and the limits of natural laws. These accounts span a wide range of phenomena, from medical miracles to unexplained occurrences that defy scientific explanation. Consider the case of John Smith, a young boy from Missouri who fell through the ice of a frozen lake and was submerged underwater for more than 15 minutes. Despite the prolonged lack of oxygen, which typically results in irreversible brain damage or death, John was revived after extensive CPR and prayers from his mother. Remarkably, he made a full recovery, with doctors unable to explain the turnaround. This event, documented in medical records and widely reported, is seen by many as a modern-day miracle, highlighting the power of faith and prayer in moments of crisis. Another compelling story is that of Barbara Snyder, who was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and had reached the terminal stages of the disease. Unable to move or breathe without assistance, she had exhausted all medical options. However, after receiving prayers from her church community, Barbara experienced an immediate and complete healing. She was able to walk and breathe independently, stunning her doctors who confirmed that her recovery could not be explained by medical science. Medical miracles often provide the most tangible evidence of divine intervention. These cases are typically well documented, involving extensive medical histories, diagnostic tests, and the observations of healthcare professionals. Consider the numerous reports from hospitals around the world where patients have spontaneously recovered from terminal illnesses, such as cancer, without any medical intervention. These recoveries often occur following intense periods of prayer or visits to religious sites known for their healing properties. For instance, the documented healings at Lourdes include cases of people with advanced cancer, severe infections, and other life-threatening conditions who have experienced unexplainable recoveries after bathing in the spring waters. These cases are meticulously recorded, with detailed medical records reviewed by independent panels of experts who verify the absence of natural explanations. Beyond medical miracles, there are numerous reports of other types of miraculous events. These include phenomena such as weeping statues, where religious icons exude tears or blood, and apparitions, where individuals or groups report seeing visions of religious figures. While these occurrences are often met with skepticism, the sheer volume of consistent testimonies over the years compels many to consider their validity. One famous example is the apparition of the Virgin Mary to 3 shepherd children in Fatima, Portugal, in 1917. Witnessed by thousands, including skeptics and journalists, the event involved a series of public apparitions, culminating in the miracle of the sun, where the sun reportedly danced in the sky, emitting multicolored lights and moving erratically. This phenomenon, documented by numerous eyewitness accounts, remains one of the most widely recognized and debated modern miracles. Personal testimonies provide a deeply human perspective on the experience of miracles. These accounts often reflect profound changes in the lives of individuals, who describe their experiences with a mix of awe, gratitude, and reverence. Consider the story of Nathaniel Ayers, a homeless musician diagnosed with schizophrenia. After years of struggling with his condition, Ayers encountered a reporter who wrote about his life. Following widespread media attention and support from the community, Ayers experienced significant improvement in his mental health, allowing him to reclaim his passion for music. Many who witnessed his transformation describe it as a miracle, a testament to the power of human connection and divine providence. In the modern era, media plays a crucial role in shaping public perception of miracles. Stories of miraculous events are often covered by news outlets, documentaries, and social media platforms, reaching a global audience. This widespread dissemination can both bolster belief in miracles and invite skepticism. Media coverage of miracles varies widely, ranging from reverent and supportive to critical and skeptical. Documentaries and news reports that explore miraculous events often feature interviews with witnesses, medical experts, and theologians, providing a balanced perspective. However, sensationalist media can sometimes portray these events in a manner that undermines their credibility, focusing on controversy rather than thoughtful analysis. For example, television programs and films that depict miracles, such as Touched by an Angel or The 700 Club, tend to emphasize the inspirational and faith-affirming aspects, often leading to increased public interest and belief in the supernatural. Conversely, investigative programs like 60 Minutes or Dateline may approach these stories with a more critical eye, probing for inconsistencies and seeking natural explanations. Public reactions to reported miracles can vary significantly. For believers, these events often serve as powerful affirmations of faith, providing tangible evidence of divine intervention and reinforcing religious convictions. Miracles can inspire hope, strengthen communal bonds, and attract new followers to religious communities. In faith communities, miraculous events are frequently seen as signs of God's active presence and favor. They become focal points for prayer, pilgrimage, and celebration, fostering a sense of shared spiritual experience. Churches and religious leaders often use these events to highlight the power of faith and the importance of maintaining a close relationship with the divine. However, skepticism and disbelief are also common reactions, particularly among those who adhere to a strictly scientific worldview. Critics argue that many reported miracles can be explained by natural phenomena, psychological factors, or coincidence. They call for rigorous investigation and caution against the potential for fraud or manipulation. The ongoing debate between believers and skeptics highlights the complex nature of understanding miracles in the modern world. While skepticism is a valuable tool for discerning truth, an openness to the possibility of the supernatural invites us to consider the limits of human knowledge and the mystery of the divine. C.S. Lewis eloquently addressed this tension, suggesting that miracles invite us to look beyond the material world and recognize the presence of a higher reality. He argued that an unwavering commitment to naturalism can blind us to the extraordinary, urging us instead to remain open to the wonders that defy explanation. Modern testimonies and experiences of miracles continue to challenge and inspire us, offering glimpses of the divine in our everyday lives. The stories of contemporary miracles, from medical recoveries to unexplained phenomena, remind us that the boundary between the natural and supernatural is permeable, inviting us to explore the mysteries of faith with both reason and wonder. As we reflect on these accounts, we are encouraged to approach the miraculous with a balanced perspective, one that honors the insights of science while remaining open to the profound possibilities of divine intervention. In doing so, we acknowledge the richness and complexity of the human experience, embracing the hope and inspiration that miracles bring to our lives and communities. Miracles hold a profound place in the tapestry of faith, serving as tangible signs of divine intervention and reassurance of God's active presence in the world. They are not mere anomalies or interruptions in the natural order, but are seen as windows through which the transcendent breaks into the immanent, offering glimpses of the divine plan and purpose. For believers, miracles are powerful affirmations of their faith. They provide concrete evidence that the divine is not distant or detached, but deeply involved in the human story. This involvement is seen as a source of immense comfort and hope, especially in times of crisis and despair. Consider the story of a person battling a terminal illness who experiences a miraculous recovery. Such an event not only transforms the life of the individual, but also ripples out to impact the faith of family, friends, and the wider community. The miraculous healing becomes a testament to God's power and compassion, reinforcing the belief that with God, all things are possible. It strengthens the resolve of believers to trust in God's providence, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. Miracles also serve to inspire and uplift. They are narratives of hope that transcend the ordinary and the expected. In a world often marred by suffering and uncertainty, stories of miraculous interventions rekindle the light of hope, reminding believers that divine grace can manifest in the most unexpected ways. This hope is not merely a passive expectation but an active force that encourages individuals to persevere, to pray, and to maintain their faith amidst adversity. The belief in miracles carries significant ethical and moral implications. For one, it fosters a sense of humility and gratitude. Recognizing that miracles are gifts from a benevolent Creator, believers are reminded of their dependence on God and the need to live lives of thankfulness and reverence. Furthermore, witnessing or experiencing a miracle often ignites a sense of responsibility. Those who have been touched by the miraculous may feel compelled to share their stories, to bear witness to the divine power they have encountered. This testimony can serve as a powerful tool for evangelization, drawing others to explore and embrace the faith. However, the belief in miracles also demands discernment. It challenges believers to distinguish between genuine divine interventions and deceptive claims. This discernment is crucial to maintaining the integrity of faith communities and preventing the exploitation of the miraculous for personal gain or manipulation. In an age dominated by scientific rationalism, balancing skepticism with openness to the supernatural is a delicate task. Skepticism, when exercised judiciously, can be a valuable tool for avoiding gullibility and ensuring that claims of miracles are subjected to rigorous scrutiny. It encourages a healthy questioning attitude that seeks to understand rather than blindly accept. However, an overly skeptical stance can close one off to the possibility of the miraculous altogether. C.S. Lewis eloquently argued that dismissing the supernatural outright is akin to putting on blinders, restricting our vision to the purely material and neglecting the fuller dimensions of reality. True openness involves a willingness to entertain the possibility that the divine can and does intervene in ways that transcend our understanding. This openness is not a rejection of reason, but an acknowledgement of its limits. It invites believers to embrace a sense of wonder and mystery, recognizing that not all phenomena can be neatly explained or contained within the framework of natural laws. It is an invitation to expand one's horizon, to consider that the Creator who established those laws is also capable of superseding them for purposes that reveal His love and glory. Miracles can profoundly impact personal belief systems, often serving as pivotal moments of conversion or deepened faith. For an individual who has witnessed or experienced a miracle, the event can become a cornerstone of their spiritual journey, a definitive encounter with the divine that shapes their understanding of God and their place in the world. In faith communities, the collective acknowledgement and celebration of miracles can enhance communal bonds and foster a shared sense of identity and purpose. Miracles become communal experiences that reinforce the unity of the group, as members come together to give thanks, offer praise, and support one another in faith. Moreover, the narrative of miracles can galvanize communities towards acts of service and compassion. Inspired by the divine interventions they have witnessed, believers may feel motivated to extend the same grace and kindness to others. This can manifest in charitable works, outreach programs, and a general ethos of care and solidarity within the community. Navigating the tension between belief and skepticism is an ongoing journey. It requires a balanced approach that honors both the insights of faith and the rigor of reason. For many, this involves an ongoing dialogue between personal experiences of the divine and the critical scrutiny that seeks to understand those experiences within a broader context. Ultimately, the belief in miracles invites a posture of openness. Openness to the extraordinary, to the transcendent, and to the possibility that the divine is at work in ways that continually surprise and inspire. It calls for a faith that is both deeply rooted and expansively curious, willing to embrace the mysteries of God with both reverence and wonder. Miracles, in their various forms, continue to play a vital role in the life of faith communities and individuals. They are powerful reminders of the divine presence, sources of hope and inspiration, and catalysts for ethical and compassionate living. As we navigate the complexities of belief and skepticism, we are invited to approach the miraculous with both a critical mind and an open heart, recognizing that in the interplay of faith and reason, we may encounter the profound mysteries of the divine. The depiction of miracles in religious art and literature has been a profound and enduring means by which believers have sought to capture the divine. Throughout history, artists and writers have used their talents to illustrate the miraculous, drawing the observer into a deeper understanding of the supernatural and its place in human experience. In the realm of art, the Renaissance period stands as a pinnacle of miraculous representation. Artists like Raphael and Michelangelo imbued their works with a profound sense of the divine. Consider Raphael's Transfiguration, where the miraculous transformation of Christ is portrayed with such vividness that it seems to invite the viewer into the scene itself. The use of light and shadow, the expressions of awe and reverence on the faces of the apostles, all serve to convey the profound impact of witnessing a miracle. Similarly, Caravaggio's The Conversion of St. Paul captures the dramatic moment of Saul's encounter with the risen Christ. The artist's mastery of chiaroscuro, the interplay of light and darkness, visually dramatizes the miraculous event, emphasizing both the spiritual illumination and the earthly disorientation experienced by Paul. This painting, like many of its time, invites viewers to contemplate the transformative power of divine intervention. Literature, too, has been rich with accounts and interpretations of miracles. Medieval hagiographies, or saintly biographies, are replete with tales of miraculous deeds performed by holy men and women. These stories were not merely meant to edify, but also to inspire and affirm the faith of the reader. The Golden Legend, a collection of saintly lives compiled by Jacobus de Voragine in the 13th century, became one of the most widely read books of the Middle Ages. It includes numerous accounts of miracles, such as the raising of the dead by Saint Nicholas and the healing of the sick by Saint Francis of Assisi, each narrative reinforcing the belief in divine power and mercy. In more recent times, the novels of Dostoevsky, particularly the brothers Karamazov, delve into the miraculous in a way that examines the complexities of faith, doubt, and human suffering. Dostoevsky's portrayal of the elder Zosima, whose body is believed to remain incorrupt after death, reflects a deep engagement with the miraculous that challenges the characters to confront their beliefs and the nature of God's interaction with the world. In contemporary times, the representation of miracles has continued to evolve, reflecting the changing dynamics of faith, skepticism, and cultural context. Modern art and literature often explore the miraculous through a lens that blends reverence with critical inquiry, acknowledging both the mystery and the complexity of these events. In the world of film and television, miracles are frequently depicted in ways that resonate with modern audiences. Movies like The Miracle of Our Lady of Fatima and The Song of Bernadette bring historical miraculous events to life, blending dramatic storytelling with a reverence for the sacred. These films not only portray the events themselves, but also delve into the human experiences of those involved, their struggles, doubts, and eventual faith. Popular television shows like Touched by an Angel and Miracles explore the concept of divine intervention in everyday life, often presenting miracles as moments of grace that lead characters to deeper insights and transformations. These representations serve to make the miraculous accessible, suggesting that divine interventions are not confined to distant history, but can occur in the mundane moments of contemporary life. In literature, authors like Paulo Coelho and Jan Martel weave miraculous elements into their narratives to explore themes of faith and spirituality. Coelho's The Alchemist, for example, is rich with symbolism and miraculous occurrences that guide the protagonist on a journey of self-discovery and divine encounter. Similarly, Martel's Life of Pi includes miraculous elements that challenge readers to consider the nature of belief and the boundaries between reality and the supernatural. The representation of miracles in art and literature serves several profound functions. First, it acts as a means of preserving and transmitting faith traditions. Through visual and literary depictions, the stories of miraculous events are kept alive, continually inspiring new generations of believers. Second, these representations provide a space for contemplation and dialogue. They invite viewers and readers to engage with the miraculous, to question, to believe, and to understand. Art and literature can communicate the ineffable, capturing the wonder and mystery of the divine in ways that direct explanation cannot. Finally, the symbolic nature of these representations often points beyond the events themselves to deeper spiritual truths. The miracles depicted in art and literature are not just about the suspension of natural laws, but about the revelation of divine presence and purpose. They remind us that the world is imbued with sacred significance, that the ordinary can become extraordinary when touched by the hand of God. The depiction of miracles in art and literature is a testament to the enduring power of the divine in human experience. From the masterworks of the Renaissance to the narratives of contemporary media, these representations continue to inspire, challenge, and deepen our understanding of the miraculous. They invite us to see beyond the surface of the material world to the spiritual realities that underlie it, fostering a sense of wonder and reverence for the mystery of the divine. Miracles, those extraordinary instances where the divine seemingly intrudes upon the mundane, often find their most compelling testimony in the lives of individuals. These personal stories, where the supernatural intersects with the everyday, serve as profound witnesses to the possibility of the miraculous in our world. Consider the story of George, a man who, after a devastating car accident, was pronounced dead at the scene. Despite the paramedics' efforts, George showed no signs of life. However, after fervent prayers from his family and friends, George miraculously revived. Not only did he survive, but he also made a full recovery, defying all medical expectations. His story, filled with the echoes of divine intervention, became a beacon of hope and faith for his community. Similarly, Maria, a mother diagnosed with terminal cancer, faced her prognosis with despair. Her community rallied around her in prayer, seeking a miracle. Against all odds, her cancer went into complete remission. Doctors, baffled by her recovery, could offer no scientific explanation. For Maria and those around her, this healing was a clear testament to the power of prayer and the reality of miracles. These individual experiences are not isolated. Across the globe, countless stories echo the same themes of divine intervention and miraculous outcomes. They range from the dramatic, such as instantaneous healings, to the subtle, like timely encounters or inexplicable events that alter the course of one's life. Each story, unique in its details, contributes to the larger tapestry of the miraculous, affirming the belief that the divine still intervenes in our world. The impact of encountering a miracle often transcends the immediate event, leading to profound and lasting transformations in the lives of those involved. For George, the miracle of his survival led to a deepened faith and a renewed sense of purpose. He became an active member of his church, sharing his story and inspiring others to believe in the possibility of the miraculous. Maria, similarly, found her faith profoundly strengthened. Her experience of healing instilled in her a sense of gratitude and a desire to serve others. She dedicated her life to supporting cancer patients, offering them hope and encouragement through her own story of survival. Her journey from despair to hope became a powerful testament to the transformative power of miracles. These transformations are not merely spiritual or emotional. They often encompass a broader sense of purpose and mission. Individuals who have encountered miracles frequently report a renewed commitment to their faith, a desire to share their experiences, and a deeper sense of connection to the divine. Their lives, once ordinary, become extraordinary as they bear witness to the miraculous and its enduring impact. Reflecting on these personal testimonies, we find a wealth of spiritual insights that offer deeper understanding and meaning to the phenomenon of miracles. Firstly, miracles remind us of the transcendence of the divine. They serve as powerful reminders that God's ways are higher than our ways, and His actions often defy our understanding. In a world governed by natural laws and scientific explanations, miracles introduce a dimension of mystery and wonder, inviting us to recognize the limitations of human knowledge and the vastness of divine power. Secondly, miracles often highlight the importance of faith and community. The stories of George and Maria underscore the role of communal prayer and support in the experience of the miraculous. These events are not just personal victories, but communal celebrations, reinforcing the bonds of faith and shared belief. They illustrate how miracles can unite communities, fostering a collective sense of awe and reverence for the divine. Thirdly, the transformative power of miracles teaches us about the nature of divine grace. Miracles are not just about the suspension of natural laws. They are acts of grace that reveal God's love and compassion. The miraculous healings of George and Maria are expressions of divine mercy, providing hope and affirmation to those in despair. These acts of grace remind us that the divine is intimately involved in our lives, offering support and intervention in times of need. Moreover, miracles challenge us to live with a sense of expectancy and openness. They encourage us to remain open to the possibility of the supernatural, to look beyond the ordinary, and to anticipate the extraordinary. This openness is not about naive belief, but about cultivating a mindset that recognizes and embraces the mystery of the divine in everyday life. In the words of C.S. Lewis, miracles are a retelling in small letters of the very same story, which is written across the whole world in letters too large for some of us to see. This profound insight invites us to see miracles as glimpses of the greater narrative of divine action and presence in the world. They are moments where the veil between heaven and earth is lifted, allowing us to witness the divine in all its glory. The personal testimonies and reflections on miracles offer a rich and profound understanding of the divine's interaction with the world. Through the stories of individuals like George and Maria, we see the enduring power of the miraculous to transform lives, strengthen faith, and inspire communities. These experiences remind us of the transcendence, grace, and mystery of the divine, inviting us to live with a sense of wonder and expectancy. As we reflect on these miraculous events, we are encouraged to embrace both the awe-inspiring and the deeply personal aspects of the divine. Miracles, whether dramatic or subtle, are powerful reminders of God's presence and action in our world, offering hope, inspiration, and a profound sense of connection to the divine. In recognizing and celebrating these events, we affirm our faith and our openness to the extraordinary, allowing the miraculous to illuminate our lives and deepen our understanding of the divine. In the ever-evolving landscape of theological discourse, the progressive wing offers a dynamic and often provocative perspective on miracles. Progressive theologians tend to approach miracles not merely as supernatural interventions that disrupt the natural order, but as profound symbols that reveal deeper spiritual truths. This perspective shifts the focus from the literal event to the broader theological implications and moral teachings embedded within the miraculous narratives. Progressive theology often views miracles as manifestations of God's ongoing creative presence in the world, emphasizing their capacity to inspire awe, wonder, and a sense of the sacred. These theologians might argue that the miracle stories in the Bible serve as metaphors for the transformative power of faith, urging believers to seek out and recognize the miraculous in the ordinary events of daily life. For example, the feeding of the 5,000 can be interpreted not just as a miraculous multiplication of loaves and fishes, but as a powerful symbol of divine abundance and the imperative of sharing and community. This reading challenges believers to embody the miracle by practicing generosity and hospitality in their own lives. Progressive theologians also tend to emphasize the inclusivity and universality of miracles. They argue that miracles are not confined to a particular time, place, or group of people, but are expressions of God's love and justice available to all. This inclusive perspective encourages an openness to the miraculous in diverse cultural and religious contexts, fostering interfaith dialogue and cooperation. Contemporary debates on miracles also involve significant challenges to traditional views, particularly from the fields of science and philosophy. Skeptics often question the credibility of miracle claims, arguing that they are incompatible with our understanding of natural laws and empirical evidence. This skepticism is rooted in a commitment to methodological naturalism, the principle that all phenomena can and should be explained by natural causes. Philosophers like David Hume have famously argued against the rationality of believing in miracles, contending that the evidence for natural laws is always stronger than the testimony for miraculous events. Hume's critique has prompted theologians to develop more robust defenses of miracles, engaging with philosophical arguments and exploring the epistemological foundations of faith. In response, some contemporary theologians have sought to reconcile faith in miracles with scientific understanding. They argue that science and theology address different kinds of questions and can coexist harmoniously. For instance, science can explain the mechanisms of the natural world, while theology explores the meaning and purpose behind those mechanisms. From this perspective, miracles are not violations of natural laws, but extraordinary events that reveal deeper truths about God's relationship with creation. As theological thought continues to evolve, several emerging trends suggest new directions for the discourse on miracles. One such trend is the increasing interest in the intersection of theology and the cognitive sciences. This interdisciplinary approach explores how human cognition, perception, and belief systems shape and are shaped by experiences of the miraculous. By understanding the psychological and neurological underpinnings of miracle experiences, theologians can develop more nuanced accounts of how people perceive and interpret divine action. Another trend is the growing emphasis on the communal and relational aspects of miracles. Rather than focusing solely on individual experiences, contemporary theologians are exploring how miracles function within communities, fostering collective identity, solidarity, and moral action. This communal perspective highlights the social dimensions of miracles, emphasizing their role in building and sustaining faith communities. The ecological dimension of miracles is also gaining attention in contemporary theology. In an age of environmental crisis, theologians are reimagining miracles as signs of God's ongoing commitment to the flourishing of all creation. This ecological perspective challenges believers to see the miraculous in the natural world and to respond with care and stewardship for the environment. Furthermore, the global and multicultural nature of contemporary theology is bringing new voices and perspectives into the conversation about miracles. Theologians from diverse cultural and religious backgrounds are contributing to a more inclusive and expansive understanding of the miraculous, one that honors the richness of human experience and the diversity of ways in which people encounter the divine. The contemporary theological discourse on miracles is vibrant and multifaceted, encompassing a wide range of perspectives and approaches. Progressive theologians are challenging traditional views, offering new interpretations that emphasize the symbolic, inclusive, and transformative dimensions of miracles. At the same time, emerging trends in cognitive science, communal theology, ecology, and global dialogue are enriching and expanding the conversation. As we look to the future, the discourse on miracles is likely to continue evolving, shaped by ongoing dialogue between faith and reason, tradition and innovation, and diverse cultural and religious perspectives. In this dynamic landscape, the enduring significance of miracles lies not only in their capacity to inspire awe and wonder, but also in their power to reveal deeper truths about the divine, to transform lives, and to foster a more just and compassionate world. In the spirit of C.S. Lewis, we are invited to approach the miraculous with both reverence and critical inquiry, recognizing that miracles are not merely anomalies to be explained, but profound encounters with the divine that call us to deeper faith, greater love, and a renewed sense of wonder at the mysteries of God's creation. As we draw to a close, let us reflect upon the journey we've undertaken in this exploration of miracles. We began by asking a profound question: do miracles still happen today? Through examining biblical foundations, historical records, and contemporary testimonies, we've uncovered a wealth of astonishing proofs that suggest the divine continues to intervene in our modern world. From the scriptural miracles that showcased God's boundless power to the documented healings at places like Lourdes, we've seen how the miraculous transcends time, affirming the steadfast nature of divine love and compassion. Our analysis of contemporary accounts, stories of inexplicable recoveries, supernatural phenomena, and personal testimonies has provided compelling evidence that miracles are not relics of the past, but ongoing manifestations of the divine. In addressing the theological debates, we've considered various perspectives that challenge and enrich our understanding of miracles. Whether viewed through the lens of immanence and transcendence, or through the critical interplay of faith and reason, the discussions highlighted the complexity and depth of belief in the miraculous. Reflecting on the enduring significance of miracles, we are reminded of their profound impact on faith and society. Miracles are more than just extraordinary events. They are symbols of hope, catalysts for transformation, and affirmations of the divine presence in our lives. They challenge us to look beyond the natural order, to embrace the mystery of the supernatural, and to recognize the continuous thread of divine intervention woven through the fabric of our existence. In the grand narrative of faith, miracles serve as beacons of light, guiding us through the darkness of doubt and despair. They invite us to open our hearts to the possibility of the extraordinary, to believe in the power of prayer, and to trust in the benevolence of a higher power. Miracles remind us that we are not alone, that the divine is ever present, working through the ordinary and the extraordinary to reveal glimpses of a greater reality. As we conclude, I invite you to continue this journey of exploration and faith. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights, questions, and testimonies are invaluable as we seek to deepen our understanding of the miraculous. Moreover, we encourage you to share this video with others who may find inspiration and hope in these stories of divine intervention. By spreading the message, we can create a community of believers united in the quest for truth and the celebration of the miraculous. We also welcome your suggestions for future videos. What questions about faith, miracles, or the divine would you like us to explore next? Your feedback will help shape the content we create, ensuring it resonates with your spiritual journey and curiosities. Prayer for compassion towards others. O Lord, Creator of all, whose love knows no bounds, I come before you seeking a heart filled with compassion. In a world where so many suffer and so many are in need, grant me the grace to see others as you see them, with infinite love and boundless mercy. Open my eyes to the pain and struggles of those around me, Help me to understand their burdens and to offer my support with a willing and joyful spirit. May I never turn away from those in need, but instead, reach out with hands that serve and a heart that cares. Fill me with the empathy to share in the joys and sorrows of others. Teach me to listen with patience, to speak with kindness, and to act with generosity. Let my compassion be a reflection of your love, shining through in every interaction and every deed. Lord, help me to forgive as you have forgiven me, to love as you have loved me, and to serve as you have served me. May my life be a testament to your boundless compassion, drawing others closer to you through my actions. Guide me to be an instrument of your peace, bringing comfort to the weary, hope to the despairing, and joy to the sorrowful. Let my presence be a source of solace and my words a balm to those in distress. Grant me the strength to bear the burdens of others, the courage to stand with them in their trials, and the wisdom to offer true and meaningful support. In all things, may I reflect your heart of compassion, and may my actions bring glory to your name. Thank you, O Lord, for the gift of compassion. May it grow within me each day, leading me to serve others with a love that is deep and true. In your holy name, I pray. Amen. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspirational content. Leave your comments below and let us know how this video has impacted your journey of faith. Until next time, may the peace of Christ be with you always.